So welcome back to our Man in Prague, and what I've decided to do today is to actually stay in Prague because that is the title of the channel. So I'm on my bike today and I'm going to try and see if I can see as many of the main tourist destinations that Prague has to offer in one afternoon on a bike. So if you are thinking of coming to Prague, there's lots of ways you can rent bikes out. There are bikes that are actually virtually free if you pay for the transport, and there are the pink bikes that we're going to be seeing as we move along this afternoon. So as I say, we're going to try and fit as many sites in as possible. I've got a route worked out in my head that I'm going to follow. We're going to go up to the castle first, which is a major tourist destination. From there we're going to go up to Petrin Hill, down from Petrin Hill to Malá, and then from Malá we're going to be going over to the Old Town Square, Wenceslas Square, and maybe take a quick look at the dancing house as well. So I've just ridden up from Davidsy, which is where I live. It's about 5-10 minutes on a bike, and I'm just coming into the Old Town at the top of the castle now. So we're going to have a look at the castle first and then head our way over to Petrin Hill. Just arriving at the castle now, and as usual, plenty of tourists around. I'm going to park the bike up, lock it up, and then we can go inside the castle. So here we are at the castle. Bit of a change of plan. I'm not going to go inside. I'm not going to lock my bike up and go inside. I'm going to just leave it outside. There doesn't seem to be anywhere you can safely lock a bike up here. Prague is a very safe city, but there have been a spate of e-bike thefts around, so I'm not really going to chance it. Very popular with the tourists up here because, as you can see, this is the castle, and also if we look down here, you can see a nice panorama of the city of Prague. So that's Prague Castle done, and next stop on the journey of the bike tour of Prague in half a day, we're going to go up the hill there. That's called Petrin Hill, and as you can see at the top of that, you've got a structure which is very similar to Eiffel Tower in Paris. That's where we're going now, top of Petrin Hill. There's a guy playing the violin behind me, and he's playing a nice rendition of Johnny Mathis, When a Child is Born. Not particularly Czech, I don't think. Anyway, let's crack on to Petrin Hill. So a lot of Prague is pretty steep, so if you do rent a bike, you need to be quite fit. I'm cheating a little bit, I'm on an e-bike, and there are e-bikes to rent all over Prague. So if you don't fancy getting out of breath, go for the e-bike option. So we're heading up the hill now, and I don't know if you can see in the distance over there, that's Strahov Monastery, but that's not on our tour route today. Just going to cover the obvious tourist hotspots. So even though we're well into autumn now here in Prague, it is actually quite warm today, so I'm just having a minute because it's pretty hot cycling up these hills, and we'll crack on to Petrin Hill now. Right, slight diversion, well not a diversion, slight problem. I appear to be lost in the woods just down from Petrin Hill. I'm not sure which way up, it's been a while since I've been here. I need to find a way up without steps, preferably, because I'm on my bike. So, maybe up that way. There's steps down that way, that's no good. Let's try going up there. Should have planned this better, no entry. By going the wrong way, I found this pretty amazing viewpoint. of the whole of Prague down there, Prague Castle and the cathedral. Now the route I'm going to have to take is round the back of Strahov Monastery, because I know that is one way to get to Petrin Hill. So hopefully I don't get lost in the woods again. So let's crack on to Strahov Monastery. It wasn't on the original plan. Go through the monastery and round the back up to Petrin Hill, if we can actually make it. I'll just park my bike for a minute while I check out this view. There's the bike and there's this amazing view of Prague. Now hopefully, if we can work out how to get there, we're going to end up at Petrin Hill. Back in the woods again. I'm going to follow my trail back in the direction where I came. Then we're going to see if we can get up to Strahov. So here we are now at Strahov Monastery. Wasn't on my original plan, but it's definitely worth checking out. Inside that building there's an amazing library, which I'm going to show you some video too. Came here a few months ago with my mum and dad. Checked out the library for the first time. It's definitely worthwhile checking out. Amazing. So anyway, carrying on now. See if we can find Petrin Hill. So here we are, Petrin Tower. It's not the Eiffel Tower, it's Petrin Tower. And as you can see, if you look closely, you can actually go to the top of that. I'll check out the prices for you, find out what it costs. Not been up myself, but yeah, amazing view, I can imagine, at the top of there. Right, we better carry on with this route because we've been losing time this afternoon. Got to get all the way back down this hill, and next stop is Malastrana. Now, if you're not coming up here on a bike, there's an easy way to get up to Petrin Hill, and it's via the funicular railway. It's not been working recently because it's under maintenance, but this is the exit at the top. You can see it's crossed out for that reason, but hopefully it'll be back up and running soon. This is an area I've never been to, not that I remember anyway. So we've got an observatory up here at the top of Petrin Hill, and if you look, it's actually open and you can see the telescope, which is quite unusual. Clear skies, so maybe they're waiting for clear skies tonight. And like anywhere in the Czech Republic, if you fancy a beer, there's a pub here. So I'm actually still lost at the top of, well, not at the top, halfway down Petrin Hill. I've never even seen this little pond before, but it is quite stunning because it's, again, got this amazing view of Prague. Now I'm just going to keep going downhill, hopefully, to get to Malastrana. Well, downhill seems to be the right direction. I'm just got to be careful of all these people. It's a Sunday, so there's a lot of people out walking, and then further down is all the tourists. These are mainly locals, to be honest. Right, back on track now. I've got to the bottom of the hill and we're back, well, we're down in Malastrana now. And if you do come to Prague and you want to rent out some transport, you'll see these scooters, these Lime scooters everywhere. And they are really geared towards tourists, and not that cheap, to be honest, if you work out how much it costs. 30 minutes from 99 crowns, it says on that one. It's not great. It's the pink bikes that you're looking for. I've not seen any yet. The pink bikes are so much cheaper, and they work better because, to be honest, these scooters, when you're on cobbles most of the time, are not very comfortable. A couple of months ago, just where I am now, apparently Arnold Schwarzenegger was in town. Well, I don't know why I keep saying apparently, he was in town, and people actually spotted him with a few bodyguards out training on his bike, just coming right down this road here. And if you're looking for a good pub in Prague, a bit different to the obvious tourist places, this is a pub I was actually in last night with my wife, Ivana. It's called Ujest. Amazing inside, the artwork is worth seeing. So a little bit off the tourist trail, but easy to get to. So check out Ujest pub if you're in Prague. Prices are great as well. 69 crowns for half-litre Pilsen. This is just over £2 in English money, maybe $3 in American. Pretty cool street this, to be honest, leading up to Malostranska Náměstí. So this is the third stop on the bike tour, or the third official stop, and it's Malostranska Náměstí, which is the main square in Malostrana, which means lesser town, or little town, I suppose you could say. It's a lovely area, quite popular with tourists, but not so much as Old Town Square, where we'll get to later. I definitely recommend, if you come to Prague, don't miss out on Malostrana. And also, if you can get accommodation here, all the better. Right, I'm heading down now from Malostrana towards Charles Bridge. Now, it's a nice warm day for mid-October. And because of that, and it's nice blue skies, so the tourists are out in force today, which isn't so easy when you're pushing a bike. Bear that in mind if you're coming on a bike tour, but it's doable. And also remember, you can't ride a bike over Charles Bridge or you'll be in trouble. Those are these old, fake old cars that take people around on trips in Prague. Seems to be more of them every day. Another one there. Anyway, let's crack on to Charles Bridge. So the entrance to Charles Bridge is there, but I'm actually going to take a bit of a detour because we're going to go and have a look at the Lenin Wall, which is down this street. So I'm going to take a quick look at the Lenin Wall, and we'll come back and crack on over Charles Bridge. Hopefully these streets down here are a little bit quieter so I can actually ride my bike. Right, so this is the Maltese, I'm not sure if it's the embassy or something, but it's to do with Malta. It's pretty big, and on the other side of it is where the Lenin Wall is. It's actually on the wall to the Maltese embassy, whatever it is. But while we're here, just have a look at this. There you go, that's where Beethoven lived. Ooh. Right. Lenin Wall in a minute. On the left. Now, the Lenin Wall is a divisive landmark in the Czech Republic or in Prague. Some people like it, some people don't. As you can see, basically it's a wall that is absolutely covered in graffiti. Now, this came about shortly after or towards the end of communism, and it was it was symbolic of the fact that Czech people could express their opinions once again after communism. So it does actually mean something. But I can see why some people aren't too keen. And John Lennon never actually came to Prague. What the hell is going on here? Right, I'm getting off and walking from here. There's just so many tourists around, it's not worth the chance of running into one of them. There we go. Loads of them. Now this is going to be fun, getting over Charles Bridge. I'm pushing my bike in one hand and I'm holding a camera in the other. Oh God. I've seen Charles Bridge enough times, but this is a mad one today. So Charles Bridge is a very old bridge, and it's famous for these sculptures that are all the way down both sides of the bridge. Now, it's longer than you'd think to cross it, to be honest. And there's some nice views from the sides, obviously, of the river, we get to in a bit. Now, at this point we go over a canal. And this part of Prague is known as Prague Venice. Let's just check out the canal. Can I get to the other side? Let's see, with this bike. Oh. Yep, looks like I have. All right, let's crack on over Charles Bridge. Anyway, just checking what time we're on. It's currently about 13:42, 1:42. Now I set off at about 12, so even though we got lost a bit earlier on, still on track to get most of the main sites done in Prague, providing I can get through all these people. Here is the Vltava River. It's the main river that runs through Prague. And we're crossing over into the old town now from lesser town. You can probably see in the distance the castle and the cathedral on top of the hill where we started from. You notice a couple of the statues are a much lighter colour, like this one. And even though it's in the shade a bit, some of them look black, and then you get the odd one that looks very kind of light sandstone colour. Basically, that's just because they've cleaned it up. Obviously, after a while, these statues need looking after. Been here for hundreds of years, so they do clean them up, and they change colour for a while before they end up going black again. The old jazz band, they're always here. Jazz is very popular in Prague. There's loads of different jazz clubs that you can go to. I go to one sometimes called Jazz Republic, which is recommended because it's actually free entrance. So if you come to Prague, check out Jazz Republic or any of the other jazz clubs you can. Very popular. Okay, I'll be glad to get off this bridge. Nearly getting there now. The street down here that leads from Old Town Square to Charles Bridge is probably the most rammed street in the whole of Prague, so if you get a chance, try and avoid it. I'm going to get to the Old Town Square, a different route, and we're going to check out the Dancing House, which is another popular tourist destination first. So all the outdoor bars are really popular today, and I can see why. We're in the mid to the end of October, and the weather is absolutely glorious. Nice and warm to sit outside. In fact, I'm boiling with this coat on, because I thought it'd be a bit colder than it actually is. So we've crossed Charles Bridge, one of the main tourist destinations. We're going to head up this way up the river now. We're on the other side to have a look at the Dancing House. So this is the famous landmark known as the Dancing House, and you can pretty much see why it's called the Dancing House, because it looks like two people dancing together, or it's supposed to anyway. It's quite annoying, this place. It's very popular with Instagrammers, and Instagrammers usually go in that little park over there and pretend to hold their arm against it or something like that, like they're holding on to it. I don't know why they do that. It looks stupid. Just don't do it. They're a bit overrated, the Dancing House, but seems popular for the tourists. And another little tip, if you're in this part of Prague, especially in the summer or even in the autumn, this area here, and it carries on under this bridge, carries on right down the river over that side, is called Naplavka. And what it's got loads of boats, many of them with bars on the roof. Good prices, not particularly touristy, but great for chilling out in the summer. You just sit and have a beer on one of these boats and check out the views. About halfway through our bike tour now, Prague. On schedule now after that little mishap before. I don't know if you can see in the distance Petrin Hill where we were, and going to be moving on now towards Old Town Square. Going to check out Wenceslas Square, the Jewish quarter, and then head our way back up the hill back to Davidci. I'm just going to cut through some side streets now to avoid all the tourists trying to get to Old Town Square. So heading through the back streets now of the Old Town towards Old Town Square. A little bit quieter here, but soon we will encounter the tourists again, no doubt. Right, I don't want to go that way because it'll be chocker full of tourists, so I'm going to go down this street. Oops, wrong way. And this is a really nice little square which is overlooked by a lot of the tourists. And it's just off the Old Town. There's an Italian restaurant there, and usually in summer, but it's closed early, just in this space here there's a bar area and you can sit out, and they are very reasonable prices. Time to get off and walk again, just in case I don't get mowed down by one of these tourists. Okay, approaching Old Town Square now. Group of English lads there in front, on the piss for the weekend. Well, saying that, they don't look drunk, but I'm sure they probably were the night before. Then again, they might not all be like me. Right, approaching Old Town Square, and as suspected, it is chocker. Let's see if we can get these crowds past the astrological clock, which again is one of the major tourist destinations in Prague. Let's check it out now. So here we have the very famous astrological clock. Plenty of people here waiting for the little figurines to come out, but I've seen it worse, to be honest. The famous church of Old Town Square and the astronomical clock. So here we go, Old Town Square. Let's have a look around. pan around the whole square. It's a big square. It's got lots of churches, lots of landmarks all around. We've just come past that building with the astrological clock. So next stop on the tour, I'm going to head up to Wenceslas Square. Not sure how these Walt delivery bikers manage it in the old town. Must be a bit of a nightmare. So I've now made it to the bottom of Wenceslas Square. Now it's interesting, Wenceslas Square, because it's not really a square. It's actually more of a big boulevard type street. And it's a little bit more commercialised than Old Town Square. So you've got some big name shops like Foot Locker there. You've got a McDonald's, 2 McDonald's actually. Plenty of shopping options if you fancy doing a bit of shopping in Prague. And we're going to head up to the top of Wenceslas Square now to see the National Museum. So we're at the top of the Wenceslas Square now, and there we have the National Museum. It's worth checking out if you're in Prague. I've been in there once. It's a stunning building inside. And we're now in Nove Mesto, which is New Town. For obvious reasons, the buildings are a bit newer than the old town. So here we are now at the National Museum. Just going to pan around. We've got a pretty good view looking down on Wenceslas Square. Oh, there's a lot of construction work going on at the moment. They're rebuilding a lot of the tram tracks, which is why you see various porticabs in construction work going on there. Right, that's Wenceslas Square done now. So we're going to head down to the Jewish quarter before heading our way back towards Davice. So just heading towards the Jewish quarter now, and having a quick stop in Městské Republiky, another famous square in Prague. So if you are renting a bike while you're in Prague, it's these pink ones that you want to look for. I wouldn't bother with the green lime scooters, but these pink ones, you need to look for an app called Rekola. That's R-E-K-O-L-A, Kola, meaning bike in Czech. And these are extremely cheap. So just go to rekola.cz and you can rent one of these bikes very cheaply. And just coming to the end of our bike tour, towards the end of it anyway, and we're now in the Jewish quarter of Prague. So this is the old Jewish cemetery and synagogue. You can't really tell much from the outside, but it's definitely worthwhile a visit. It's quite sad inside in the cemetery, and inside shows a lot of the victims of the genocide from the Jewish population who were in Prague at the turn of the war. So there's a nice Sunday market going on down here near the river. That music's a bit loud, hopefully not copyrighted. Once again, this weather has been amazing today. Some jewellery stores, food as well, churros, that's Spanish. Let's see what else they've got. I'm getting a bit hungry actually myself. Arthur's barbecue. What's he got? Trouble is I've only got a card, I've not got any cash. It's pretty tasty though. More than hot dog. Ooh, big fancy hot dogs there as well. Definitely getting hungry. So it's currently 15:13 in the afternoon, getting towards the end of our bike tour. So only been 3 hours 15 minutes so far basically, and our last port of call is going to be at the top of that hill over there with a great view overlooking the river, and that hill is known as Letna. Back over the river to the other side now. You can see the castle and the cathedral clearly in the background. And to the right there we've got a vineyard. So I've just cycled to the top of the hill now, and we're now in the park called Letna. Let's go up here to the can't remember what it's called, something pavilion, Haranaski or something pavilion. Nice building, it's got a bar in it, overlooking the river. That's the pavilion. Nice beer garden there. And if you turn around, you'll see that the view is right looking over the river. And the 3 bridges, well 4 bridges I can see from here, including Charles Bridge, which is the second one down. And if you don't want to hire a bike, you can always hire one of these things. So I've come to the end of my tour now, and that's all the major Prague tourist spots done in 3.5 hours by bike. Obviously there's a lot more to Prague to see than the major tourist spots, but it just shows it can be done pretty quickly. So check out loads of other areas. You've got like Vyšehrad, many different places that you can check out as well. And I'm getting a bit hungry now after all those nice smells from the market down there and from the restaurants in the Jewish quarter and so on. So getting a bit hungry. I'm going to head back to Davidsy, grab a bite to eat. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon with another video from our Man in Prague.